Welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about 3 games, actually. So all 3 of them are published by Flying Tiger Entertainment, and they're part of a series called Johnny Turbo's Arcade. So those are different ways that you could search for them on the eShop if you wanted to, but they are not, repeat, not a bundle. These games are sold separately, but I'm going to bundle them together into one video because I feel like a lot of the same points really apply to all 3 of them. So I think that I paid, I think it was like $5 a piece for each of these. So what are they? Okay, so you've got Gate of Doom and Wizard Fire, and they're actually part of a series. So Gate of Doom is the first one, and Wizard Fire is the second game in the series. And those are basically isometric fantasy arcade action games. I wouldn't really call them action role-playing games. There are not really any role-playing game elements other than, of course, the fantasy theme. And I wouldn't really call them an isometric beat-em-up similar to, like, you know, a Golden Axe. Again, there is the similarity of the fantasy setting, and there is the similarity of fighting dragons and things like that. That would fit into that setting, and you do have magic spells that you can cast and things like that, but it doesn't play like a beat 'em up. These are definitely arcade action games. And then, moving on, separate from those two, is Crude, which is sort of a kind of a sequel, kind of a spiritual successor to Bad Dudes from Data East, the classic arcade and then NES game, Bad Dudes. So this was the sequel, and I remember when when Crude came out, I thought it was incredible, but of course, to be quite frank, the bar was really low in those days. So just the simple fact that, like, you could pick up, so not just that you could pick up items, I mean, obviously Double Dragon and Bad Dudes and all those other games, you could pick up weapons as you were traversing the level, but you could, like, pick up a car and throw it, or you could pick up, you could rip a light post or a telephone pole out of the ground and use that as a weapon. And, I was a kid at the time when this was new in arcades, and, I was probably, I don't remember, I'm going to guess like a tweenish type of age. And I thought that simple addition of something that I had never seen before, like, blew my mind. And, and of course back then, I thought that this game, Crude, was like a really gritty, edgy beat 'em up. And of course, looking at it now, it just looks, ridiculous. But it's not terrible. It's not great. As you can see from the video, it's not really like a faux 3D plane like you see in a lot of, Double Dragon and Ninja Turtles and most things that fall under the category of beat 'em up. No, Crude is, appropriately enough, it's very similar to Bad Dudes in the sense that you are very much on a 2D plane. And there's like a little bit of verticality, but not much. And then it's kind of a similar thing with the 2 aforementioned fantasy games, Gate of Doom and Wizard Fire. I was really impressed by them back in the day when they were originally released. All 3 of these games were somewhat rare in the arcades, and all 3 of them have like a really cool imaginative setting. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this review, though. Did they do anything with that setting? And the answer is, for the time, they did enough. All you really needed to do was have a cool setting that people could take and basically just use their imagination with and flesh it out in their head to feel like a complete world. But in terms of gameplay, none of these games hold up. That's the bottom line. And look, if you watch this channel, you know I'm an old schooler. And so, look, man, if I'm telling you these games don't hold up, like, I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but they really don't. There's no leveling up like you might expect, especially with the fantasy setting games. There really is no combat technique to speak of in any of these three games. Like, they're very basic arcade, button mashy, just really simple games, essentially. If you're determined to play one of them, I would probably say play Wizard Fire. It's just probably the most polished of the three, and it's tolerable. But what you're looking at here is, like, it's really an arcade simulation, which means you hit I think it's the R button to give yourself credits, which you can do at any time. And then you just button mash and continue until you finish the game in like 15 or 20 minutes, and then you kind of are done with it. Like, there's not really any collectibles to go get. There's essentially no reason to keep playing the game. And I'm not here to bash these games, man. I mean, I'm all about nostalgia, but you know, my internal storage on my Switch is almost full, and my SD card is almost full, and you know, I'm having to cut some corners. And even though the file size on these games is really small, they're on the chopping block anyway. I wanted to put this video out so I can delete them all, even though they're not going to free up that much space. Like, I just can't imagine a time when I'm going to want to play them. Even multiplayer, you know, they're just not that exciting. The bottom line, these are games that had a time and a place, and they don't hold up. Not even for $5. Like, if they were free, I would say, like, it's free, download it, play it, get rid of it, whatever. But honestly, I don't feel like any of these are worth really any amount of money. So that's pretty pessimistic, I guess, or a little bit negative or whatever. Somebody put in some work to put these on your Switch, and like, part of me appreciates that, but there's just a lot of games to play, man. There's a lot of games to play, and nostalgia's cool, but there also has to be like some content there that's worth my time. You know, as an adult, like a lot of you probably are, you know, my time has a value. And so that's what I'm trying to let y'all know here is, like, what is even worth your time and the space on your SD card. And these three, you know, I've got some affection for them, but hard pass. Anyways, I'm going to quit rambling. Please click like and subscribe, and click the little bell so you get notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.